Hello and welcome to Crucible of Worlds for more dedicated legacy action. Today we are playing Oswald Paints a Story. This is a mono-white painter deck that I've played before on the channel, but I've never played this specific version, which is sort of my latest innovation of it. I've not been playing this deck very much lately, it just didn't feel like it was in a great spot to me. But this is an updated list that hopefully will do a little bit better. So, what is this deck? Well, Painted Servant makes all the cards that are in play and that are in people's libraries the colour of your choice. Grindstone mills a player for 2 cards, and if those cards are the same colour, it does it again. So the combination of these 2 cards will mill your opponent out completely. Pretty good. That's how we're going to be winning the game. If our opponent has a thing that shuffles back in like Emrakul, we do have a Saga lantern we can go and find. But to make this all work, we've got 4 Oswald Fiddlebender to go and find our pieces. We also have Urza Saga, which can be a good beatdown plan, or just find our Grindstone if we need to combo off, or one of our other useful things like a Retrofitter Foundry, or the Shadowspear, or a Pithing Needle even. And then we have 4 Staff of Storyteller. This is our main draw engine, so we're going to use this to try and power through our deck. This has got amazing synergy with Urza Saga and Retrofitter Foundry, and hopefully we can leverage that for a lot of damage. We've done that before in the past. We have Mother of Runes to help protect our combo when we're trying to go off. So this can protect our painter and just keep our guys alive. We also have this portable hole. This is not something we can find from Urza Saga, but Oswald can find it. We've got 4 Ethersworn Canonist, which is just a really good tool against combo decks at the moment. Trying to play a bunch of spells, this really shuts that down. Incredibly useful against Beseech the Mirror, because whatever they find off Beseech, if it's not an artifact, they're not casting it, that's for sure. And we have 4 removal spells. I think removal is quite important in the format now. Previous versions of this deck had very little removal in, and now I've got the 4 main deck plows. It just feels right to me. The other things we can find up with Oswald, we have an Ensnaring Bridge, so that we can sit behind that until we're ready to kill our opponent. And we have a Crucible of Worlds, so we can recur our Urza Saga, but also smash people down with Wastelands. We've got mostly planes in the mana base. We have 1 Horizon Canopy for our Crucible of Worlds, a couple of Karakas, just a very powerful card that you can have if you're playing white, because it's kind of free, not entirely free, because people can wasteland you, but the opportunity cost for this is very low in a white deck. We have 1 Eiganjo in case so we've got 24 lands, some of these lists play 23, so we've got 24 lands so we can fire off Eiganjo sometimes. This is our sort of half spell, half land, 24th land type thing. And we have 3 Ancient Dens that we can use to sacrifice to Oswald. We don't want 4 because we don't want to get too blown out by meltdowns post-board, although meltdowns are always a bit problematic for this deck sometimes. But that's life really, isn't it? So yeah, this is the main deck. The way it differs to previous versions I've played is I've played versions with Ingenious Smith, which has always kind of unimpressed me, because if you don't hit, then you just played a very poor creature. And sometimes you hit and it's not that exciting. And it also encourages you to play more Ancient Dens, which pushes you more into getting blown out by meltdowns. Now, I know there are some people who play Monowhite Painter who sort of swear by the Ingenious Smiths, and I've definitely had a lot of games that Ingenious Smith has been great in. But the problem for me is, like, the floor of Ingenious Smith is so low that sometimes you can cast it and the game can hinge on it finding something, and if it doesn't, then the game is over. And I don't particularly like that. Whereas Staff of the Storyteller makes a 1/1 which can go and poke at Planeswalkers, or do some chump blocking, or steal the initiative, or whatever, and draw some cards, which is nice, and then we can draw some more things, and they just combo together so nicely. Now, Staff of the Storyteller has fallen out of favour a little bit due to Orcish Bowmasters, but again we have the 4 plows to try and help that, and we'll see what we can do about it, really. The other thing that this deck sometimes runs is Stoneforge Mystic, so I've cut the Stoneforge Mystic package to fully flesh out our plows and staffs and give us a little bit more flexibility here by running the Shadowspear instead of the equipment package in the Stoneforge. So yeah, the logic here is that the Urza Saga is a good enough beatdown plan on its own most of the time, and Ingenious Smith isn't an amazing beatdown plan. Like, it's okay, but sometimes it can go right. It's not amazing at beatdown, and it's not amazing at finding all your artifacts and getting you to go off. So it's kind of like this weird sort of middling thing. So you're paying for the flexibility of it. And we're just going for drawing raw cards with stuff instead. So yeah, that's the main deck. We've got some interesting stuff in the sideboard in the form of the Battle of Bywater. So this is a 3-mana sorcery. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater, then create a food token for each creature you control. So this can give us some food tokens whilst killing our opponent's creatures, which is obviously a pretty potent swing, and those food tokens are actually quite useful to us because we can use Oswald to fiddle bend them up into something good. like a Grindstone. Oh, I also should mention we have 4 Grindstone in this list, where normally you'd see 3 in a white painted deck. We're trying to be a bit more on the combo front. So yeah, Battle of Bywater was one of the new things I'd like to test. This card has blown me out a few times from Death and Taxes, and I think we can definitely use it here. Then what else have we got? Just the normal stuff, really. So more Deafening Silences. We're not losing against Storm today, right? 4 Deafening Silence, 4 Canonist should be pretty good. We got the couple of Containment Priests and a couple of Surge Extractions to go with our Cage and our main deck, Saga Lantern, for graveyard-based decks. Containment Priest and Grafdigger's Cage are also pretty good versus like Green Sun Zenith, Natural Order style decks too. We have a Loran that we can use to blow some artifacts from Charmin up and then recycle it using Karakas. And we are still running the March for the Otherworldly Light, which is, again, you're paying a little bit for the flexibility here. So it is quite a flexible card, even though the rate isn't always great. But what I do love about this is for 1 mana, you get to blow up an opposing Urza Saga, which has won me so many games I can't tell you. So, I'm a big fan of that still. So yeah, this is the deck. I have this in foil in paper, actually. Although I only have the 3 Grindstones, so maybe I don't want the 4 Grindstone build to be good. Who knows? Anyway, remember to like and subscribe. That really helps the channel out and doesn't cost you anything. And I think I've spoken for enough on this deck. Let's just play some Oswald Paints a Story. If you're looking to play Legacy on MTGO like me, why not try Card Hoarder? They're a rental service that I personally use, and I found them better than other rental services that I've used in the past. So why not give them a try? Alright, we're on the play for game 1. Our hand is not particularly exciting to me. Like, we don't really do our game plan here. So I think we should mulligan this. We're looking for like Oswald or Urza Saga, or ideally both. So we can keep this. The double staff is a pretty nice combo here. I don't think we need the Ensnaring Bridge. Play out an Ancient Den here and pass. And then we can decide whether we're playing out the staff or the Oswald, depending on what our opponent does here. Thoughtseize targeting us. We're probably going to lose the Oswald, but they might take one of the stars just because they combo together so well. I'm not sure what sort of Thoughtseize deck our opponent is. There goes our Oswald as predicted. Let's play this out and jam a cheeky little Staff the Storyteller into play. Obviously we're going to have to try and play around Bowmasters, but we have an answer for Bowmasters in hand. Vault of Whispers. So this could be... Okay, Pithing Needle is going to be on Urza Saga, I believe. Right, so this could be like a Saga Storm type deck here. They put it on Staff the Storyteller, so we can still make Saga tokens if we want to. If we think our opponent's Saga Storm, we're probably more inclined to Wasteland our opponent and play another Staff, and then we can Portable Hole this away if we need to. Cycling the Troll. Okay, so we're not Saga Storm then, but we're probably some sort of Beseech list. That's the reason for the Vault of Whispers. Okay, interesting. I think we're just going to have a little bash here and then make our Saga construct on our opponent's turn and see how we fare. Doughty Voidwalker. We could exile this. I think we are inclined to do exactly that. Let's make a guy. This gives us a counter on our staff. So I want to make a guy here. If I want to Portable Hole, we can't really afford to... I think we just tap this for mana. So I don't want our opponent to like Dark Ritual into Let in the Void. I think we need to get this Doughty Voidwalker out of here. I think I want the Soul Guide Lantern here, just to make sure that we don't get anything spooky reanimated on us. Let's drop a Portable Hole. Let's take out this Voidwalker. Let's play a Grindstone, pump our guy. Let's constrict our opponent's mana here. And then go to tax. Bash for 7. We don't have a lot of land in play right now, but we have a lot of power. I think we just attack here. If our opponent flashes in a Bowmasters, then we'll draw from the Staff of Storyteller. With just the One Ring. Sure, I would like to... we can't draw from the Staff, sorry, can we? Because of the Pithing Needle. What am I talking about? Sure, this is not amazing for us, but it's fine. I'm just trying to think if we want to draw a card for this. I think we do. Shrinks our constructs, but we already have lethal damage with them. So I guess we're just playing this. We don't need to attack because our opponent's immune to damage this turn. They're going to 2 life now. But they can have a Fatal Push. But they need to get rid of their one ring if they want to survive here. Alright, they're going to die in their upkeep if they don't find an answer here. They could just play another ring and fog for a turn. Or they could play a Shouldred. I'm going to Beseech the Mirror. The Beseech the Mirror card is cast, so it will get the one ring trigger if they've got another one. But the one ring might be a one-of they can find off of Beseech. So we'll see what they have. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Each player gets rid of 2 cards. Alright. Interesting. Not really seen this card before. It's pretty cool. We'll get rid of a Grindstone and one of our staffs. Right, they've got an Urza Saga now. Alright. A land? We do have a land. So next turn they can make a 2/2. So we could play a Staff the Storyteller and equip it with Shadowspear next turn. I think that's the safest play here. So we have the win on board if our opponent has nothing. But they got a grip of 4 cards in there. We do have a backdoor into a possible Painter win soon as well. Alright, 3 cards left in our opponent's hand. Alright, let's equip this to our flyer. Have they got a removal spell of some description? They do not. Okay, so we got the first game there. Not drawing a lot of lands there was a bit awkward, but we managed to make it work. So, our opponent's deck is like a sort of Beseech Leyline Helm combo by the looks of it. So, what do we want for something like this? I think Loran as a third path is probably going to be pretty good. We've seen Troll of Khazad-dûm, which means they probably have Grief as well. And we know they already have the Daffy Voidwalker. So Battle of Bywater is going to clean up all of these things. So I quite like these. I think we can trim on the Grindstone. That's pretty safe here. Pithing Needle is definitely going to be a useful one. The Ethersworn Canonist looks a little bit lame here. Maybe we can trim these other 2 Canonists for Containment Priests and run something along these lines. Obviously, if we have a Containment Priest, we can't tutor out the Painted Servant with our Oswald. But they can't put creature cards in from their graveyard. So that's fine by me. Okay, we got Mother of Runes, we got removal. We got a decent amount of stuff. Alright, a Leyline of the Void. Yep. As expected. 2 Leylands of the Void. We could die on turn 1 if they've got the right amount of acceleration in their hand and the helm. This deck doesn't kill people very often on turn 1 though, so be thankful about that. Alright. Let's play our Mother of Runes. And pass. An Ancient Tomb. A Dark Ritual. Are we dead here? Beseech the Mirror with 1 floating. Yep. So this will go and get them the helm. And then they will target us with it and we'll die. Pretty good. Turn 2. Not bad. Not bad, opponent. How are we supposed to deal with this? So this is where the problem of Much for the Already Light comes in. Because Much for the Already Light is not great for hitting CMC4 things. Maybe we do want these Canonists just to stop Beseech lines. Although that wouldn't have stopped what they did there anyway. But it can stop them tutoring other things. I don't know, it's tough. Maybe we do just want these. Like if they have like the super early get you with that, then fair enough. I suppose Deafening Silence will stop Beseech lines like every time. Unless they get shouldered, right? So maybe these are better than Containment Priests. I think we definitely still want the plows. I don't really know we can fit in anything else around these. You can trim a staff for a silence. Like they can still just use the Beseech the Mirror to find the card. They don't have to cast it straight away. Sure, we'll keep this. And hope they have a creature heavy hand. So the plan here is turn 1 Mother of Runes, turn 2 Urza Saga plus Silence. And then kill all the things they make and try and ride the Saga to victory. Alright, let's play a puny Mother of Runes. And pass. No Leyline means we're very unlikely to die on turn 1. Unless they have some sort of Storm combo in their deck. Would I rather have an Urza Saga? Yeah, I think I would rather have Urza Saga ticking in the plains. So this stops Beseech the Mirror getting a non-creature spell. If they want to cast it, that is. They can still just use it as a Diabolic Tutor, which is fine by me. 4 mana Diabolic Tutor. Well, that's exactly what Diabolic Tutor is, but not a great card. And there's a Saga of their very own. Ours is ticking first though, so that's something. They do have a bonus artifact in play though, whereas we do not yet. 4 mana. The One Ring. That's a pretty good artifact. Guess we pass a turn from here and start churning out guys, but we're probably going to lose to the card advantage of the One Ring. We do get the Pithing Needle soon, which can help out versus the One Ring. Plague Engineer. Let's see if they name Construct or Human. Construct is very good here. They just named Human, interesting. Shadowspear. Let's make a puny 1/1. I would like to draw a land, I think, this turn, so we can at least fire off this plow. We did not, alright. So just gonna make our guy. Go get Pithing Needle. Name the One Ring. Okay. So they're going to be taking 2 damage a turn from the One Ring. And they're very unlikely to be able to remove our Pithing Needle. So we've got a clock on the game, but they do have a Shadowspear. Although this Ancient Tomb is not the freest of things to tap. Alright, Pithing Needle, what are they going to name? Grindstone, presumably? Or it could be stuff as Storyteller if they're worried about that. Urza Saga, okay. No more Urza Saga for anyone else. Understood. They got a land to equip. They do not. Let's throw this Human Engineer into it. This Plague Engineer naming Human into us. They are. They're offering us a trade here. I think I'm willing to take that. Switches on our Mother of Runes and saves our source to Plowshares for these. For like these constructs. The planes. Sure. So Mother of Runes. Do we need to plow this turn? Can we just play out another Mother? Sure, let's play out another Mother. Another Plague Engineer would be not great for us. But we want our opponent to tap their Ancient Tomb to equip the Shadowspear, and then in response we will kill their guy. Yes, they'll gain some life, but they're basically losing it already. Right, let's plow this. They gain 4, but they've lost 2 to equip the Shadowspear, so they're only gaining 2 from this. And they've wasted their whole turn, more or less. No Shadowspears for you. Let's go attacks. Bash for 3. Let's keep 1 Mother of Runes back. We've got ourselves a plow if we need it. And yeah, hopefully this One Ring plus our creatures will be enough. So they go to 6 here. And then we attack them for 4 on our turn. Unless we need to kill something. Shouldered the Apocalypse. Say no to Shouldered in your area. So if we attack now, it doesn't actually change the clock too much, right? So if we go, we just attack with these guys. Now if we attack with this one, it doesn't actually change the clock here. Unless we have to kill something else. Because they're going to go to 3, and then we can poke them to death next turn. And if we manage to sneak our way through with the power of Pithing Needle. Alright. Let's just bash with our Construct token and 1 Mother. For lethal damage. An Orcish Bowmasters, you say? Sure. What would you like to ping? You would like to ping this Mother of Runes. This can give it self-protection, which stops them getting another blocker. So they won't get another guy because this ability will fizzle. So they can block either of these and then they'll take 2 in their upkeep from the One Ring. Excellent, we got the match there. Not necessarily how our deck is intended to function, but we kind of got there. Yeah, bit of a weird one. Alright, let's go to round 2. 5 lands is too many lands in opening hand, so we're going to mulligan this one. This seems a lot better. We'll keep this. I think I'd rather keep a spell dense hand. We're going to bin off the Karakas so we have secure mana. Our opponent is a famous control player, by the way. So, this Mother of Runes could do a lot of work here. We'll see. So our opponent's playing a 4-colour non-white control deck. Usually with Punishing Fires and Dak Faden, which is known as the Stryfo pile. Alright, they're going to see an Orcish Bowmasters. No, a Life from Malone, okay. They're just making sure they can secure their land drops the next few turns. Understood. So we have a choice here. Do we want to get our staff going? I think we want the staff going here. We do have a plow for a Bowmasters, so we can leverage some card advantage from it. We're not going to attack with our Mother. We're going to keep it up to protect ourselves from removal. A Brainstorm, sure. So next turn, we might be playing the Canonist. So we don't really have that many artifacts to work with, but the Canonist can really slow down our opponent's ability to play the game. Like you're seeing here, they're just playing all these cantrips. If we'd have played the canons this turn, we might have had a better time, but such is life sometimes. They did not shuffle their library. Understood. Go attacks. Send in the clown. Let's try this canonist out. A force of will, pitching force of will. Alright, got 2 for 1 out of it. I'll take that. So we'll hold up plow, but we can always draw with stuff the storyteller if we need to. Orcish Bowmaster isn't that much of a threat. It's just going to ping our life total, and this matchup's not really about the life total. Sure. The only reason we would want the plow here is because our opponent might be playing a Minsk and Boo in their deck, and I don't just want to get smashed up by a Boo. An Uro. Okay. It's not so bad. So now we're not worried about that. We're just going to draw from this. Alright. 4 cards in our opponent's hand. We have a Wasteland. I will fire off the Wasteland. You see the Bowmasters here. We are going to see the Bowmasters. Sure. What are you going to target? The Mother of Runes. The Mother of Runes will protect itself. This will stop them getting a 1-1. And we'll attack for 1 here. So if our opponent plays Back Fade and targets us to try and get some Bowmaster value, we can plow the Bowmasters in response. They dredged Life from the Loam. Understood. Okay, there's an Ottawa in their graveyard. That's something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. They're putting it into their hand. Sure. There is the Dak Faden. Are they going to target us to try and get some Bowmaster value? I think they might. Just try and kill their Bowmasters. Alright, so we get to filter our draws now. Okay, I guess we throw this away and maybe the Mother. That was a pretty good turn for us. A Karakas. Interesting. There's no point trying to Wasteland away all their lands here. We can sacrifice this staff though and go and get ourselves a Palantír, which is quite potent here. We'll play out this Horizon Canopy. I think I want to draw a card from this. Okay, another Wasteland, not that exciting. Oh, they're just going to gain control of this, aren't they? Whoops. That was an error, wasn't it? Oh, that was a horrible error. We've really punted this game now. Oh, what? Should we just attack and kill the Dak Faden? I would like a Pithing Needle. I would like both of these, to be honest. I'm probably going to mill the Pithing Needle, yep. But we have the Saga Lantern, so we can take out the Life from the Loam here. The Dak Faden will minus and steal our Palantír. That's going to make me sad. But I deserve it. I made the mistake. I play in the Euro, sure. Bit late for our Saga Lantern to do its thing, but alas. They take the Palantír. And we get clowned on pretty hard for that mistake. Punishing Fire, understood. Interesting. Let's bounce this. A Saga Lantern. I thought I put Saga Lantern on top of our library. Did I misclick? Just having a bad day over there. Let's play Painter's Servant. In black, just in case there's some snuff outs over there. I don't expect there to be, but it's possible. And then next turn, we can tutor up Grindstone and win through counterspells with Mother of Runes available. Orcish Bowmasters. Alright. It's going to ping down our Mother of Runes again. Mother of Runes will target herself. No protection for black. Many lands our opponent has over there. Glad they're not playing white, because we don't have to worry about 40 or Lingus at least. Punishing Fire. Return to their hand. Sure. So they're going to shoot our Oswald down, I believe. No, they're going for the Mother. Sure. We got another one. They're Assassins trophying our Painter. Sure. We'll go and get ourselves Plains. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Sure. Oh, we took some damage there. Staff of the Storyteller. We'll sacrifice this. We can get ourselves a portable hole and switch on our ability to Staff of the Storyteller. Or I could get this Saga Lantern and just take out this Punishing Fires. A lot of choices here. We could even get a Retrofitter Foundry and then give ourselves more artifacts to then tutor up with next time. But if we don't get rid of this Punishing Fire, we're going to lose all of our creatures. So I think we do just have to go and take out this Punishing Fire. Yeah. Do I think our opponent is going to Life from Malone here? I don't think they should be. Oh, I'm really upset with that pump we did earlier. That was so dumb. I did a misclick as well in this game, but I don't mind the misclick because sometimes that happens. But the punt into the onboard thing was real embarrassing. It's an Uro here. Sure. We're not going to bounce this yet. We're going to wait until our opponent's gone past attacks and stuff because we don't want them to have a Minsk and Boo before attacks and just smash us with that. Life from Alone, target a bunch of stuff. Sure. Cephalid Colosseum is pretty good with the old Bowmasters. So you don't have Threshold yet though. Don't have to worry about that this turn. It's just some fun and games for next turn. Yep, they get treasure. I don't think mana is really their choke point here. They have plenty of manas. Got 4 counters on. Sure, you can draw a card, I think. Dress down. Interesting. Sure. This allows us to draw a card with the staff safely. And we'll return this Uro. A Painter's Servant. If we play this now, it won't come in with anything. So that's not where we want to be. Not sure this Wasteland is particularly useful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so we'll play this Wasteland out. Got this Canonist. I don't think we'll win this game with Light Turtles, so we're going to hold back. Do we want to draw a card with this Soul Guide Lantern? Or do we think it's going to be more useful popping a bunch of their things? We know they've got a Punishing Fire. This is going to be a tough one. Let me pass here. Assassin's Trophying are... Okay, so we go and get ourselves planes here. Let's have a Colosseum. We can fire this off and target us. This is interesting. So they have the Bowmasters here, which is going to shred through a bunch of our board. So we have to discard 3 cards here. Yep, so we're going to lose some guys. Presumably our Oswald. Yep. Giving our opponent that Palantír was such an error. Very annoyed with myself. And now they can blow up this Canonist if they want to. But if we draw a... what's it called? Painter's Servant, we can win the game. We'll just take 2 here. I think this game is very much over. Sure, they can draw an extra card here. God, I could manually grindstone them out at this point. There's so little cards left in their library. Is that our plan? Let's see. I think it's better to keep this in hand and keep our opponent surprised. Like if they do the Cephalid Colosseum trick on us again. I think we're okay doing that. Doing anything in our end step here? No. I'm going to exile that graveyard here. Just get rid of this Life from Malone. Is the opposing fire on our... Oh, it's going to be a Drown in the Lock, sure. Our opponent's got all the cards you can imagine here. Sure, they're going to copy this guy. They're going to ping our little guy, and they're going to beat us down for a little bit of damage. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this isn't lethal. It puts us to 1. I think our opponent still wins this game if we don't make that Palantír play, but we certainly helped them out. There is an Uro. Sure, you can draw some more cards, make your library thinner. Like, they've had a lot of fetch lands, so maybe they've run out of spells here. Okay, so they got this Cephalid Colosseum here. And they're going to just target us with this. If they can get 7 cards in their library. Understood. So if we grind them here... this is going to be tricky. An Orcish Bowmasters. Let's see some more cards. And then we die. Yikes. Alright. That went pretty poorly, truth be told. But some of that is definitely on me. What is going to be useful in this matchup? The surgical extractions on stuff like Uro and Life from Malone is going to be handy. But other than that, I'm not seeing anything super amazing. Like Bowmasters is pretty potent against what we're trying to accomplish, which is awkward. We trim a staff and a grindstone. Just have a couple of surgicals. Yeah, we can keep this. Maybe we cheese our opponent out with Wastelands. It could happen. But our opponent's deck runs Witherbloom Command as well. So they have more ways of finding lands. But that does require them to have 2 mana. We're hoping to make sure they don't get off of 2 mana. Or get up to 2 mana maybe. Keep this and play this Grindstone. Alright. Opponent's turn. We can F6 for their turn because we are not doing anything. We need to be careful with the clock here. Let's just keep our opponent off of mana for as long as we can. Alright, a Brainstorm. Now, the problem with this strategy is if our opponent finds their Life from Malone, then we kind of just have achieved nothing. But I think the deck that's like all removal spells is always going to be a tricky one. Let's get rid of this. Play Saga Lantern. Get rid of a Trop because that casts both sides of Uro. Alright, let's hope that stunted our opponent enough and that we can also draw a land ourselves. Because if we don't draw a land, we're going to feel a little bit sheepish. We did not draw a land. Are we supposed to crack the Saga Lantern to draw a land? I don't think so. Maybe we are. Ugh, that's so bad. Right, found the land at least. A Brainstorm, sure. Oh, they're Brainstorm locked without a land. That's exciting for me. Let's play this Canonist. That's going to slow them down a bit. Yeah, Force of Will. So that might happen. Okay, can we cheese them? Okay, so getting 1 card deeper than the previous Brainstorm. Right, let's play Fiddlebender. Well, sure. We have another one for next turn anyway. Let's play Mother. And pass. Got Fiddlebender again. And then pass. Because we have an active Mother of Runes, we can't just completely pass. We just have to pass until our opponent's next thing. Alright. If this resolves, we win the game. Alright. We get to win the game now. Yep, our opponent's had enough. Sure. We assembled the Crucible Wasteland lock. Whew, that was a tough one. That definitely could have gone the wrong way for us, and our opponent could have had a way out of that, and we'd have been screwed. But if we just go back in again, this hand seems fine. As a Saga, pretty good against control decks as a general rule. Mother Rune's also pretty good against control decks. Let's get this up and running straight away. Now they might just untap and play a Bowmasters and kill our Mother. And that would be sad. Yep, there it is. It was the one thing we thought might happen. Okay, we're going to play the Canonist here. We can get punished if our opponent has Attack Faden and just pluses it at us. Why did I say anything? Sure, so we're going to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Alright, I don't think we need all of these plows. And I don't really want this as well. Yep, so they're going to ping down our Canonist, sure. We are a combo deck, so being able to draw more cards isn't the worst for us. This is ticking up. I don't think we're in the mood for this right now. I think we are playing Painter's Servant here, holding up Swords to Plowshares. We'll name black in case of snuff out. I'm not expecting it, but I don't want to name blue. They can gain control of our Painter's Servant, but that doesn't impact our combo. They're targeting themselves. Okay. We presented the win on board right here, so Mr. Rainforest. We've got an Assassin's Trophy. I would like some more time in this game, please. What do we do here? Let's get a Pithing Needle and name Dak Faden. I think we make a construct here. At this stage of the game, I think a Canonist is going to be better for us than a Plow and Saga Lantern. So, we need our opponent to not do anything too scary. Okay, that's not too bad. Like, obviously it's a very powerful card, but there's scarier things in our opponent's deck than that. Okay, Plains, that's not what we really wanted here. Let's play this Saga Lantern. And we'll get rid of their Volcanic here. Are we drawing a card? I think we are. Are we? That will let them grow their Bowmasters. We can always kill their Bowmasters and then draw a card. I think we attack them. And we'll crack this post-combat. Retrofitter Foundry is a good one, isn't it? Get this going. So, do I think mana funneled into Retrofitter's Foundry is better, or taking them off of their 4th land? I think just having the mana to funnel into Retrofitters is going to be better for us here. Our opponent has some more interesting lands we might be able to hit anyway. So they have this. So if we Wastelanded them, we'd have been blocking here, I think. But I think our plan is to just Retrofitter Foundry our way until they melt down us and ruin our day. When will that meltdown come? Who knows? Pernicious Deed. That's not a meltdown, at least, I guess. But it will take out all of our opponents here. Yeah. Alright. Our opponents should win the game now. I think we are Wastelanding their Grove. Is that right? No, let me just pass here. Manual Grindstone it is. We want to keep the Wasteland around in case we draw Painter. Yeah, they have the Grindstone now. So now we can't play the Painter until we get rid of our Grindstone. Maybe we're not supposed to play that out, but I'm just playing not amazing, but we are also a million miles behind. Our opponent is going to win this game, I think. I don't think there's much point in keeping this one going. Yeah, we did not play amazingly in this round. I haven't played against Stryfopal very much. Clearly I haven't played against Deafening very much either. But also, they just have so many things that deal with what we're doing. And they have much better engines going than we do. So a bit of an awkward one. A bit clunky. Could definitely go back and improve on how I play that one. But this feels like a horrible matchup. Let's go to round 3. Well, our opening hand is not the manner I would like. So this is the mulligan. This is fine, we can keep this. We have redundant Oswald, so we can throw that back. What are we looking at here? Sure, I think we're just going to go for the turn 1 Grindstone, turn 2 Painter, turn 3 Kill. And then, depending on what we see our opponent play, we can adjust. We can also use our Fiddlebender to go and find whatever we want. Retrofitter Foundry can give us things to start that chain with as well. Right, just a mountain. Interesting. Okay, we've drawn a land. Press the Saga. Just gives us an alternative plan when time comes. Force of Will pitching Nasa. Okay, so we're looking at a blue deck here. So we can Fiddlebend our way back up. So if we draw a land in the next 2 draws, then we can probably do this at the right time because we can get another Grindstone if we want it. If they're a control deck, do we want to leverage this as a Saga for value? In game 1, I think we probably do. If we draw a land, then maybe we do things differently, but I think we're just going to get our Urza Saga running. Okay, so looking at some sort of Grixis. So we have to watch out for Colligan's Command as well. Understood. It's going to be Colligan's Command. 2 to this, blow this up. No, just a pay theft, sure. It's not so bad. Just make a guy. And then we get ourselves an artifact. Get Soul Red Lantern. It's likely that our opponent is using their graveyard for something. Whether that's going to be Murktides or Snapcaster Mazes or Cling to Dust type stuff. Right, let's buy our guys, sure. So we've expended a decent chunk of resources using that Saga. And now we can deploy our Fiddlebender and work towards our combo. Right, let's play our Oswald. And let's deploy the Retrofitters. Get this up and running. Our opponent does not look like a Daze deck either, with the basic spread that they have. They look very much like they're in Grixis control. Sauron's Ransom, sure. Okay. Interesting choices here. So let me pick between Bowmaster and Land Drop. And these. So the reason for playing these 2 together is that basically both of them are going to be whole turn plays if they keep them. Okay, so they've taken the Jace and the Snapcaster. So both of them is going to be plays that take their entire turn to leverage. And the Bowmaster looks relatively tempting because it allows them to take out our Retrofitter Foundry tokens and things. But I don't know, maybe that could have been better. We'll see. Alright, so here comes the Jace. They're just going to bounce our guy here. They are, sure. How much is this? 2 mana for a token. That's a very annoying amount of token right there. So next turn they get to Snapcaster and blow stuff up. But if we play this, they can't do that. Obviously, the Snapcaster into our Soul Red Lantern isn't very good either. So another reason to group it with the Jace there. But it does force action on our Soul Red Lantern, which we were hoping to use to turn into something better. Okay, they're just going for the Brainstorm here. Okay, our Bowmasters. It's going to take out our Mother of Runes. That's their spell for a turn, but it's a pretty good one. Cracking a fetch land. Shoulder's Edict. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Well, I only have one of those. This Wasteland allows us to activate Retrofitter Foundry, so we're not going to Wasteland something here. Force of Will pitching a Snapcaster Mage, sure. Yikes. These red-based control decks feel pretty horrible for us as a match. Sure, draw some cards. A Ponder, sure. We've still got this Brazen Borrower waiting in the wings as well. Plague Engineer. This can name Servo. Sure. I think this means we have to kill the Plague Engineer. Just because on board we're not doing anything else. One card in our opponent's hand. We need one more mana for this to work. So I think we're just going to sit back on this Retrofitters and try and draw it end of turn. With the Saga Lantern if we have to. So it might not attack this turn. No attacks. Don't want to draw this card. We're kind of at parity a little bit here. We'll just make one of these guys. We did find the land. Let's try this guy out. Our opponent probably has removal here. Playing the Borrower that we already knew about. Are we supposed to try and grind? We're doing our opponents. Oh, we don't have a set in their upkeep, do we? That's weird. Alright, let's go for it here. I imagine they have something here. A Lightning Bolt. A very clean answer, sure. But we're at least making them use mana on their turn for it, so... Yeah, we're losing our little guy. They're going to bash for 5. Which is worth casting. I wouldn't be surprised they had a Force of Will here. They've got the 5 mana open and they've been drawing a million cards. Okay. Okay, so attacking with some guys. Like this guy. They flash in a Bowmasters and kill our guy maybe. Or maybe not. So the option there is to keep it around longer and try and turn it into a Thopter. But there is some danger associated to that. Right, so this is 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So we can make a Servo and then make a Thopter and block this Borrower. We do that all in combat, so they'd have to commit real removal instead of just using the Jace bounce. But committing real removal isn't a problem when you're drawing an additional card every turn. Free Brainstorm every turn. Let's make this go. And we're just going to block this Bowmasters this time. Is that right? Yes, I think so. Feels like our opponent has got something. Maybe we don't have the opportunity to play around it. Let's do a manual grind. We got some cards. A Canonist. Is that better than just blocking what they have in play right now? I don't think so. I think our plan is make the 1/1, turn it into a bigger thing. Well, not a bigger thing, a flying thing. Okay, so shooting us for 3. You got more of that. So whole priority. We make this. And with this ability on the stack, we untap this. Nimble Obstructionist. Okay. Well, we've seen something I wasn't expecting, so there is that. They got a line of bot to finish us off? They do indeed. Yeah, I don't think we were beating that in a million years. That was rough. Again, this is a matchup where we don't have good sideboard cards. So, like, the old Jeskai control decks was something that we're actually pretty good against back in the day. But these sorts of control decks just feel rough. Like, we could board in, like, Containment Priest just as more threats, but I don't even think that's good. Yeah, I think we just have to go back in again. Like, their deck is basically just a whole bunch of removal and counter spells. And some of that removal is on a creature, which isn't great for us. And they'll probably have Hidetsugu's Second Right, or whatever it's called, or the one that blows up all the 1s and 0s. That's pretty good against us. And Snapcaster, which is a creature that is also removal. It's just, yeah, these matchups feel somewhat nightmarish. Right, we'll keep this and we'll get completely blown out by Meltdown. There's not a lot of people playing like the Grixis-based control decks these days, but they are pretty brutal. There's a basic island from our opponent. There is a Ponder. It chose not to shuffle. Does that mean there was a Meltdown on top? Who knows? Alright, here we go. At least they can't melt down for 2. They'll still take 2 of our permanents. A Brainstorm, okay. Can we find a land and grind away? Like, they probably have Fatal Pushes and Lightning Bolts in their decks, so I'm not expecting our plan to work here. But we have another Painted Servant, so hopefully that one will work. So it's going to be a Mountains as a Lightning Bolt. Sure. Mother of Runes, not the one we wanted. Let's go for this. Same again, please. I imagine our opponent will kill this as well. Colligan's Command, and we discard a card. Sure. Pretty brutal. Ensnaring Bridge. That's not really the one, is it? Let's play Fiddlebender out. That way if we draw a land, we can then go up to a 3-drop and get like a Palantír on the go. You can play the Canonist and turn it into a Palantír. And that will hopefully get us a bit more joy. But our opponent does have Colligan's Commands. They have a pretty clean answer to Palantír. We did not draw the land here, unfortunately. I'm not going to attack into Bowmasters. I'm just going to play out this Canonist. Let's at least slow our opponent's roll a bit. And it will make Snapcaster Mage worse. Cling to Dust. Alright. Sauron's Ransom. Yuck. Let's give them... How tempting do you want to make this pile? Do you think the Obstructionist is more tempting or the Scalding Tarn? Let me give them the Obstructionist. We don't want them to have this meltdown. This is the face-up pile, the top one, I believe. Alright, they took the Nimble Obstructionist. Alright, that's better for us than them having meltdown at least. Because meltdown would remove 3 of our permanents from the board. Oh, I misclicked and went through my attack step. We're having an absolute mare this evening. So we can't really use Oswald to Fiddlebend anything because of the Obstructionist. Okay, now we can. Oh, they drew a meltdown. I don't want to keep playing this game. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to concede this one. These red-based control decks feel unwinnable matchups, to be honest. It just feels like what we're doing is just not very powerful either. So, alright, let's go to round 4. Alright, we have a turn 3 Goldfish with a Staff of Storyteller to then pick up the pieces if that doesn't work. Doesn't feel like in the meta at the moment you can just turn 3 Goldfish people very much. Right, here's the Plains. Let's smash down this Grindstone. And it's our opponent's turn. Opponent is a fan of the channel. It's always nice to see. Vault of Whispers. Are we dead? No, but we're about to lose our Painted Servant. There it goes. Let's play the Staff. Get a little tasty spirit. There's a Saga. This looks like Saga Storm to me. Yeah. No Beseech. Well, that's a pretty great draw in this matchup. Now we might just get beaten down by Urza Saga. That's a very real thing that can happen here. A Brainstorm is interesting. I wasn't expecting that out of our opponents. Another Saga. Yeah, we will probably not beat this Saga train. Right, let's draw with the Staff. Okay, so we have a Wasteland. We have a Crucible. That's a fun one, isn't it? So I think we take out the little Saga here, because that represents 2 tokens. We can't stop them getting 2 tokens with this one. Pack away for 1, I guess. Jam down this Crucible. Now, we do have Source of Plowshares on our deck. We have 4 of them, so if we can find those, we'll at least be able to answer these Saga tokens, or at least one of them. That'll give us a bit more breathing room. Like, they can play a bunch of artifacts still, because if Canonist doesn't care about artifacts, it's non-artifacts. So that could be a problem. Yep, there goes. A big bite out of our life total. No Shadowspear at least, so that's something. Like, we can Wasteland our opponent. Where did that leave us? Not in a great place, to be honest. Alright. I think we are playing this out. So, the reason we're not going to crack the Wasteland is because this means that if we draw Painted Servant, we can combo next turn. We can chump block this turn. Do a little grind, see what's going on. Infernal Tutor. What are they going to reveal from their hand? A Mox Opal. Okay. Not a big fan of whatever's going on over there. We can mill ourselves to try and hit an Urza Saga. But an Urza Saga isn't good enough to win the game right now. So I think If we mill them, we at least get a little bit more information because they've got Brainstorm. They're on a slightly unusual build, so I would like to see more of their deck here. I'll buy you. Okay. Karakas. That's not the one, is it? So we jam this one down and we chump block one and hope to survive for a turn. That means you probably have to wasteland this Vault of Whispers. They have less mana this turn. There's also less artifacts for their constructs. Alright. I did say we'd probably lose this Sagas, and here we are. Well, it's only just one Saga killing us. Right, there's a Mox. They can just cast a little Tendrils if they want to. Just a little Tendrils. Just a little spicy Tendrils. We're just going to grind their library again just to get a bit more information. It does look like Mono Black Saga Storm just splashing Brainstorm. It's interesting. Okay. So, Deafening Silence ×4. Yes, please. Do we want the Battle of Bywater for Saga tokens? Maybe. We definitely want Loran of the Third Path, actually. We definitely want these Might Rather Orderly Lights. That's probably better. Grafdigger's Cage can stop Beseech Lines. Surgical Extraction can stop Beseech Lines on turn 1. So I think I'm kind of more into that. If we're born in Marches, we probably don't need the Plows. Probably don't need Shadowspear here. Probably going to be too slow again for something like Palantír. We can always reach for the Ensnaring Bridge if we end up in a situation where that's what we want. Staff is fine. Canonist fine. Mother of Ruin is probably pretty weak here, actually. So something like this. We've got the Might of the Water Lights, which can pick up some tokens. We can also hide behind a bridge. Loran of the Third Path is very good at dealing with tokens. Yeah. Not really into the build that we're playing today. I think the time for Starter Storyteller is gone, which is a shame. It's one of my favourite printings for Legacy for recent years. Do I think a Surgical Extraction is enough here? So we can surgically extract something. Maybe that'll be okay. Then what are we doing? We do have a Wasteland. It's tough. Do I think Surgical Extraction is enough? Our opponent is going second, so we have to choose first. I think we want like a Silence or something. Alright. Goodbye Plains. I think we'll keep this, and this hand, it may look a bit blank, but actually it's pretty decent because we have the Deafening Silence for their Storm combo. We have the Wasteland to deal with their Urza Saga, and then we have a threat of our own. So actually, all the land spells are actually spells this one. Got him! Right, let's just smash this one down. Our opponent plays an Urza Saga. It's a little bit annoying for us because we are incentivized to Wasteland here. Shadowspear, sure. Which means we're not getting a token out of our Saga. It's a shame. But their Saga tokens are better than ours. Sure, that's fine. We at least have another play, so let's get rid of this. Let's play this. Pass a turn. All the silence effects. Another Saga. Okay, that might be us. So we don't really get anything out of this Saga. We can Pithing Needle their Saga here, though. So that's pretty reasonable for us. Alright. So this Saga can get Haywire Might and get rid of our Deafening Silence. Do I want to get rid of all of our opponent's Urza Sagas? Honestly, I don't think that's worth doing. Maybe it is. We'll see. We have the option here to take out our opponent's Chrome Mox. I do not hate that. And let's pass. Going to be a tough one for our opponent to get out of this. If they have another Saga, then they're okay. Maybe, okay, they're just going to put that on that guy. Sure. We've got another Saga. They can take out the Pithing Needle and just do Saga things. Right, I guess we'll go to attacks here. I'm happy to trade this. I don't think our opponent will be happy. Maybe they take it, I don't know. Have a nice little joke around with our opponent, which is what you'd love to see. I will take this trade. Clearing this Haywire Might off the board is pretty good for us. Ah, they got another one. They weren't lying, it is mighty. Yep. What have we got to draw this turn? Oswald Fiddlebender. Don't mind if I do. Right, so we're going to put our Canonist under the bus if they give us that opportunity. They're not giving us that opportunity. Interesting. Staff of the Storyteller. Put Staff of the Storyteller in first, I think, here. Let's draw a card with this. A Grindstone, you say? I'm trying to work out if there's a way that we can get rid of this Haywire Might. I don't believe so. Not yet, anyway. We could go get... let's sacrifice this staff and get ourselves a Crucible. Play the Wasteland from the graveyard. Take out their Bayou. Yeah, okay, so now they've sacrificed the Haywire Might, which is what we wanted. Alright, and then we can bash them for 2 here. And now we are pretty close to assembling the combo. We've also turned them off Metalcraft. Alright, they found another land, that's fine. Alright, let's just... this is a creature spell, so we can play this and the Grindstone this turn. Alright, oh, they know that we can Oswald up as well. Alright, do you want to do anything differently for this game? I don't think so. Containment Priest can stop Haywire Might coming out. Is that something that I'm that interested in? I don't think so. Is it better than Staff of Storyteller? I don't think so. Alright, we'll just go back in. We're just going to get turn 1 bopped. There's not much we can do about that. Unless we have the Surgical. This one... beats as a Saga. Doesn't beat anything else, though. They've mulliganed. Do I just think that double Wasteland is going to be good here? We can definitely get punished. We have 8 silence effects to draw into. Right, that's mulligan. Let's try and find one of these silence effects. Okay, so we have a silence effect. We have an answer to Urza Saga. We have our own Urza Saga. This hand is better. Our opponent's on 6 cards so far. We will keep this. What is going to go back is the question. I think it's the Grindstone. So we can get that off of Urza Saga anyway. Oh, they boarded into a different combo here. They boarded into Leyline Helm. That's pretty interesting. Alright, read it and weep. Goodbye, Deafening Silence, I assume. There it goes. I'll play out a basic Plains. Haywire Might. What are we doing here? We do want to kill this Haywire Might at some point. I'm going to play with Oswald, I think, though. This gives us the ability to go and get a Pithing Needle if we need to next turn. As well as being able to March for the Holy Light. Lion's Eye Diamond. Mox Opal. Abrupt Decay on that guy. Okay, that's fine. I can live with that. Okay, our opponent doesn't have much in the way of resources right now. This is non-creature, isn't it? So, I think the plan here is play the Ancient Den. Play the Painter on black. And then I think we might rather already liked this. Lion's Eye Diamond is the most busted card they have. So they can take out our Ancient Den. We're kind of hanging out there in the hopes they do exactly that. And then we can play the Urza Saga and start ticking it up. Another Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay. They couldn't win last turn with the Lion's Eye Diamond, so... a Wasteland. That's not really the one, is it? Let's draw a card here. Another Plains. Alright. This is probably going to eat the... get eaten by the Haywire Might. We also took our opponent off of Metalcraft by blowing up that Lion's Eye Diamond. Dark Ritual. Okay. This is Beseech. I think this is deterministic, right? They crack the Lion's Eye Diamond in response. Okay, they haven't done that. Interesting. Oh yeah, they just get the Helm and just kill us with the Helm. We can't do anything about that. Yeah, we are dead. Yeah, the pivot was pretty good. Yeah, think about this game. Is there anything we could have done differently? I guess we could have much have already lighted the Mox Opal instead of the LED. But I was kind of trying to turn the Mox Opal off by getting rid of the LED. So it's a bit of a tough call. Alright, we're going to round 5 now. Desperately looking for the second win in this league. Alright, our opening hand for the final round looks alright to me. I think we'll keep this on. A basic island. Could mean a lot of things. Because we have bonus Urza Sagas, I think I'm going to play out just the first one here. To get us ready for potential turn 3 kill if we want it. Okay, so we play the Solgar Lantern out in case our opponent is doing like scammy type stuff and they like cycle a troll and try and reanimate it, we shut that off. Alright, so we're going to lose our Saga this turn. Yep. Not unexpected. They were thinking about casting something with that mana though. Interesting. Trying to work out which land I want to play. We still have the 3 mana, so we can kind of just go again. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do here. Mystic Sanctuary. That's not really the one, is it, opponent? I think I'm going to draw a card. Let's try one of these little bad boys. If our opponent is like... I'm not really sure what our opponent is. Wasteland and then just a bunch of blue mana so far. Alright, let's go for black. Ponder, okay. Right, if they don't show us removal colours, they are dead next turn. I suppose they can still bounce stuff in blue. Okay, so I've got a green source as well. We have a choice about mana sources here. I think I'll play out Karakas. We have to use this mana now. One is there. You have Brazen Borrower, Address Down. Sure. So, layers do not work the way our opponent wanted it to. Okay, so I think our opponent is playing some sort of Phyrexian Dreadnought deck. That is the impression they were giving me. Which is the sort of deck that March for the Light is pretty good against. Because Battle of Bywater is Destroy. Whereas we're going to want to Exile because they're going to have Uro as well. So March for the Light is probably what I'm looking at here. And there's some merit for something like Surgical Extraction. Crucible is going to be good here. Bridge is probably fine. Palantír also decent. Is going to be good. Pithing Needle. We've seen Wastelands from our opponent. We see anything else I'm going to be interested in? I don't think Pithing Needle is that essential for us. Portable Hole can kill Phyrexian Dreadnought, so that's pretty nice. Canonist is very good against people trying to play something and stifle it. We can probably trim a Grindstone. Just trim some of these. Question is, do we want 2 surgicals or is 1 fine? I think 1 is probably fine. Yeah, so opponent's like some sort of Yorion Dreadnought. I guess they could be the control Yorion deck as well. And they just happen to have Dress Down as a control card. Don't want to keep this hand. That's pretty cold to Wasteland. Need to help the go somewhere. They didn't show us their deck when we milled them, so I'm going to try this one on the draw. We have a Mother of Runes, which is going to be handy for stopping any sort of removal that our opponent's bringing in. A Wasteland. Not a big fan of that one. Are they going to Wasteland this in response to the mana ability? They did not. Excellent. Should get this down. I don't really want our only white source getting Wastelanded. Alright, they're cycling for Loran revealed, so they need a Tundra. Okay, so maybe we are just looking at like one of these more control-y style ones. Alright, sometimes you get a read on people and you just think, oh yeah, that person's playing a Dreadnought. But doesn't look like that's the case. Let's play Mother of Runes. Should be good against a bunch of removal. Probably eat a plow. Or an ending. Just another cycle. Our opponent decided not to play the Trop in their hand. Interesting. Let's go for a Canonist here. This should slow our opponent's roll. If you want a cantrip, that's your whole turn, opponent. Although they might do an end of turn Brainstorm here. We're not attacking with Mother because we want to protect our Canonist. Yep, so there's going to be an end of turn Brainstorm and they're going to be hoping to play something good on the following turn. Terminus counts as pretty good. Yep. Sure. And now we've got the Tropical Island out of their hand that we saw earlier. Okay. So we're on Beanstalk control by the looks of things. Let's go for Staff. I think I do want to cash this card in now while we can. Painter's Servant. Okay, that's halfway to a combo. Brainstorm, sure. And Zagoth Triome. Yeah, so we're going to see things like Leyline Binding and stuff out of our opponent here. Right, they're cracking it. Volcanic, we're going to see Minsk and Boo here. 4th Eorlingus. Alright, our opponent is going to get the Monarch here. I got a feeling they're going to Solitude our guy as well. Let's see. Can we attack our opponent with the Spirit Token? Alright, we got the Monarch off them. Interesting. Let's play this one out. Name white in case we need to pitch something in a minute. Then we will pay 1 for this Mother of Runes. And then we can March for the Holy Light away one of these human knight tokens to stay alive. Or to stay the monarch. Now, I've got a feeling they're just going to play another 4th Eorlingus. That would kind of make sense, playing that one into potential creatures on our end. We'll see. Because we already had a creature in play that could easily get the monarch back. So they must have had a plan for making sure they get the monarch back again. So one of these. These do not have trample. I think they only have trample. Oh, they do have trample. Okay. I thought they only had trample the turn they came into play, but that's a mistake. Alright. They can bolt this and then trample over then. No, we just get to keep as the monarch. That's good news for us. Mystic Sanctuary. They're going to put 4th Eorlingus on top of their library. I'm going to say no to that one. I don't think I can beat that. So I would very much like to keep the monarch. An Uro. Okay, so maybe they were doing that as a way of getting the Uro into the graveyard so they can start working towards it. Which is fine. You know, it's good use of their time and resources. Swords to Plowshares. I do not hate that one. I think I would like to play an Ethersworn Canonist. And we can play a Shadowspear and hold up Swords to Plowshares. Just poke for 1, I think, is fine. We're going to be drawing a card with a monarch here. See, these sorts of control decks, I feel a lot happier playing against Painter, but the black-red based control decks just feel real bad for us. Let me have my bonus card, please. Now, flashing in a Solitude. Oakley dokley. What are you going to target with this? Presumably our Painter's Servant. 3 cards on our opponent's hand. Do I want to protect? Sure, I think we will protect it. Our opponent can't play a removal spell this turn. They can play one on their turn, but that'll be any spell they play. Mother of Runes, not the one. A Dress Down. Okay. This means our opponent's probably casting an Uro this turn. Oh, wait, they can't cast an Uro, right? Because oh, no, they can, yeah, because this will blank the Canonist for the turn. Yeah. Everything is still white, though. Because of layers, and layers are silly. Let's see what we find. A basic plains, you say? Alright, let's draw a card. I think we should have drawn a card before playing a land in case this exact thing happens. Yeah, okay. So, I don't really want to get bugged out by Terminus here. Let's equip to this. Actually, let's leave our plains open so we are more responsive to Wastelands here. Surprised our opponent didn't put Yorin in their hand. Let's have a little crack with this. We've got Mother of Runes if we need it. We've got Plow if we need it. It's going to be an Endurance. It is an Endurance. Interesting. So the choice was to keep up the Mother of Runes to protect our guys, or to keep up the Plow to deal with their guys. So the way we get punished here is if our opponent has Minsk and Boo. Right, they're putting Yorin into hand. That's no Minsk and Boo this turn, I think. So that's good. Well, actually, no, they can still cast Minsk and Boo, right? But they didn't. Excellent. Our clock is not really very spectacular right now. Play this one out. Let's play out a cheeky Grindstone. This is kind of a weird lock on our opponent. If they cast a spell, then they don't get to do any other spells, right? So they have to counterspell this one. But we do have the Grindstone coming off of the Saga soon. What's this going to be? A Force of Negation, you say? Understood. Right, I would like to have another Mother of Runes here. Now this can potentially play into Terminus a little bit by having this Mother, but it does mean that we have the lock on two pieces of spot removal. And what we're trying to do here is just maintain the Monarch. The more toughness we can put in front of stuff, the easier it will be to maintain the Monarch. We can't wasteland them off red. The only colour we can wasteland them off is black, which isn't a colour they use. It's just there for the leyline binding. Right, we're going to see an Uro here. That's a good card. Now, we have 2 Mother of Runes, so blocking this isn't going to be very difficult. But it's going to be drawing them extra cards. Another Wasteland. I'll play another Urza Saga, so we at least have that going for us as well. Our attack has been halted. But we can deploy another Painter. That's an error, isn't it, I think? Yeah, I don't think we needed to do that. we're just trying to do that in case we get around removal. What we've done is given them a very, very sweet Terminus board now. When before we just had the ability to combo. If they Terminus, we could just untap and combo. Yeah, that was a definite error. Can I have this bonus card? Alright, we've drawn another Painted Servant, so not that punished. Up the Beanstalk. That is your non-artifact spell for the turn. Because we have 2 Grindstones coming, we can sort of double up on that, and it'll be pretty good. Sure, you can draw an extra card. Let's block here. Let's give our creature protection from blue. So we're about to put our opponent in check. What's this going to be? Address down. Okay. Interesting. I will not make any tokens here because they will die. I will get a Grindstone. I will draw a card from our stuff. Soul-Red Lantern. Seems like a reasonable one to pay. And now if our opponent casts any non-artifact spell, I will Grindstone them out. And then next turn, I will Grindstone them into Grindstone. So our opponent is in check, and next turn it will be checkmate. I cast a removal spell, we kill them in response. So if they cast something like Up the Beanstalk, we can Grindstone them in response. The only thing they can cast here is creatures. Sorry, artifacts, sorry. Creatures. That's the Deafening Silence one. This is non-artifact spells. Alright, we finished with a 2-3 there. So that was a bit of hard work. But we got there. Not the cleanest of games either from me, so apologies for that one. Let's talk about the deck. So I guess the immediate thing to talk about is my beloved Staff of the Storyteller, which was pretty much my favourite card that was printed recently for Legacy, really, for a while. And this card has just been invalidated by Orcish Bowmasters so much. And our deck is already not amazing versus Bowmasters, because we're playing like little creatures. We've already had to cut like the Esper Sentinels and stuff because they were unplayable in the format right now. And now we've got these like... These guards are okay. It means we can't ever really attack with them. So I guess the first thing we need to get rid of here, let's just zoom out a little bit. So these Staff of Storytellers are no good. Which means that we should either be playing the Stoneforge package or the Ingenious Smith. Now, Ingenious Smith is something that I mentioned at the top that I've had pretty mixed results with. I don't think it's that reliable. And again, it's something that dies to Bowmasters, but the window at which it dies to Bowmasters is a lot shorter. And the card it draws you isn't drawing, it's looking at top 4. But whenever you miss with that, it feels like you've just lost the game. Like you're playing 2 mana for a 1/1 at that point. So it really does need to find you the hit. It's not even as good as something like Glintnest Crane, which has basically the same come into play effect, but is a 1/3 flyer for 2 instead, which is often going to be a better body than a ground pounder. Because if you're not finding an artifact, then you're unlikely to pump it as much anyway. But so some things in this build that I liked. I think having 4 plows in the deck feels good. I think the 4 Canonist definitely seems worthwhile. I don't think we need the 4 Grindstones. So, and then it's a case of how many of these things do we want? If we're not running the Staff of the Storyteller, we probably don't want the Retrofitter Foundry. So that frees up another slot. I kind of like all of these though. So this gives us 6 slots to play with, potentially. And we run 24 lands today, and our mana base was kind of iffy at times. So I don't really want to go lower than 24. Like that is including 8 disappearing lands with the Sagas and the Wastelands. So I think it's a bit risky to run less than 24 lands. That's my experience anyway. There was one time where I would have wanted a Mox Opal off of Vara as a Saga, which is something that older builds used to have that I didn't really get on too well with. So that's definitely something you could do. So what would we replace these 6 cards with? So this 6 cards could quite easily be 4 Stoneforge Mystic, 1 Cauldra, 1 Batterskull. That would be a pretty simple way of replacing those cards, and you'd end up with a very strong beatdown plan if that's where you want to go. Or you could play 4 Ingenious Smith, just use them as an ability to find some more lands, find some more artifacts or whatever, and then you get 2 free slots to play with in that case. So what would those slots be is the question. And that is where I get to pondering. So there's lots of artifacts we've run in the past. Things like Ether Vial, but I don't really think we want Ether Vial in this list anymore. You could run Fast Mana in the form of Lotus Petals to help speed you up. That seems somewhat reasonable. You could run... we used to run the Hope of Girapur, but that's a 1/1 creature, so we don't really want to be playing that either. So not quite sure what I want for these last 2 slots. If we are running the Ingenious Smith, then they definitely have to be artifacts. And then we probably need to run the 4th Ancient Den just to help with our artifact count to make sure that works. Not really sure what the last 2 cards would be. I'll have a think, and I'll probably, you know, this is a deck, like I said, I have in paper, although I'll put it down for a while because I don't think it's in a great spot right now. But I will keep returning to this in various ways and forms, and I think, you know, some of the play patterns of the deck are really fun, even if I played like a clown a bit today. But I sometimes get in my head when I'm playing against a matchup and feel like it's going horribly badly for me. My brain tends to switch off in an annoying fashion. Maybe that's just the defeatist attitude sometimes when you've been recording so many leagues in a short space of time. Sometimes you see the writing on the wall and maybe you could play a little bit tighter. But anyway, that's enough rambling from me. I didn't get to do anything with Battle of Bywater this league, which is a shame. I think that is actually a really good card for this deck, especially for playing a build that's not going for the bigger creatures. I also don't think Death and Taxes is in a very good spot right now. Like, the deck's kind of had to be quite heavy into black to make it work now with like Thoughtseizes, Plague Engineers, Oppo Agents, Bowmasters. That's kind of what Death and Taxes has to do to survive in this day and age. And there's a lot of overlap between Death and Taxes and what we're doing here. So yeah, I'm not really sold on the Mono White Painter right now, which is a shame because, you know, I've spent a lot of money on getting a foiled out version of this. I've got foiled masterpieces and all that jazz. But I've got some other ideas for this deck, and I've got a really interesting idea that I want to try out soon, that I will hopefully have on the channel in a few weeks' time. Alright, I am done for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. And remember to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. And when I hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to do a giveaway where I'm going to give a copy of my book. I'm a fantasy author in my main life, so I'm going to give a copy of my book away, as well as a donation deck to somebody who wins the little competition. So keep your eyes peeled for the 2,000 subscriber video that I'm going to put out that's going to have the competition details on. Alright, time for bed. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.